Something I love about the current era of American baseball is the absolute takeover we have seen of elite Japanese talent in MLB. The most accomplished team in the league right now showcases three of the most superbly talented players to hail from Japan in the history of the sport, but it does go beyond the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yu Darvish just set the record for strikeouts by a Japanese pitcher, Kodai Senga finished top 10 in Cy Young voting in his very first season, and Seiya Suzuki just became the third Japanese player ever in MLB with a 30-homer, 100 RBI season. And on top of all this current talent, we're going to get 4 new Japanese superstars in MLB through the posting system this offseason. A pair of talented power hitters in Munetaka Murakami and Kazuma Okamoto, as well as 2 pitcher teammates in Tatsuya Imai and Kona Takahashi. I plan to spend the next couple of weeks building profiles on each of these players to better inform you all about what they bring to MLB, and also throw in a prediction or two just for fun. Today, we'll be starting with the man projected to sign the largest contract of them all, that being longtime Seibu Lions right-handed pitcher Tatsuya Imai. Imai has already grabbed tons of headlines with his intriguing profile. He looks to continue the trend of undersized pitchers who manage to overcome our conventional wisdom about pitching in MLB and succeed. He's gone on record saying that he doesn't want to play for the Dodgers, and views the potential chance of beating them as a high honor. Entering his age 28 season, coming off easily the best year of his career with bouts of control issues seemingly behind him, the Tatsuya Imai sweepstakes is going to be competitive and will likely end with a contract that will shock everyone. So let's find out everything we need to know. While it's fun to simply analyze overarching career resumes and pitch arsenal profiles, I think it's good practice to look at what Japanese pitchers did in their most recent seasons before they were posted and signed with an MLB team. In the 3 years before Yoshinobu Yamamoto signed with the Dodgers, he posted a trio of consecutive seasons with over 170 innings pitched and an ERA below 2. Yamamoto is a special case, obviously, but both Yusei Kikuchi and Shota Imanaga pitched 3 seasons in a row with roughly 150 innings pitched and an ERA below 3 before they came overseas. These are more comparable cases to Tatsuya Imai, and while Tatsuya Imai has had a similar run of dominance in the most recent window of his career, his road to getting to this level was far more tumultuous and complicated than his contemporaries. Tatsuya Imai had serious growing pains upon his entry to NPB. From 2019 to 2021, Imai walked the second most batters in NPB at 223 total, trailing only Koyo Aoyagi. The thing is, Aoyagi, a 3-time All-Star and Japanese Series champion, had about 600 more innings pitched in this window compared to the young Imai. Imai was walking batters at a simply untenable rate, owning the highest walk percentage in this window of any pitcher with over 200 innings pitched at 14%. This directly contributed to his 1.53 whip, also the highest mark in this same qualifier. Much has been said about Tatsuya Imai's walk issues, with a career walk per 9 rate of 4.4. For reference, a 4.4 walk per 9 rate would have matched the same rate as Gavin Williams in MLB this year as the worst among all qualified pitchers. But the thing is, Tatsuya Imai's numbers are heavily skewed from his early years where he probably shouldn't have been pitching in NPB in the first place. Because the Seibu Lions lost 3 of their starting pitchers the year he was drafted, most notably Yusei Kikuchi, they threw the 18-year-old first-round pick into the fire instead of letting him get 2 to 3 years in the developmental league that high schoolers would normally be afforded. Actually, no guys, I figured it out. Imai was struggling because he's actually such a bad boy. In 2018, before ever throwing a pitch in NPB, Imai actually got popped for a suspension because he got caught smoking weed in public while wearing his uniform. I'm hoping that 10 years removed from this, he's a little bit more wise, but honestly, my kind of ball player, man. At 23 years old, Imai clearly had electric swing and miss stuff, but had displayed essentially no ability to command the strike zone 5 years deep into his professional career. But since this low stretch of his early going, Imai has steadily improved with each passing campaign. Earlier in his career, Imai was trying to mimic and style his mechanics after Yu Darvish, but as soon as he converted to a more natural motion and delivery, his results improved greatly. Since the apex of his walk issues in 2020, where he posted an unbelievable walk percentage of 16.8%, that number has tumbled down annually, falling as low as 7.0% in his most recent 2025 campaign, a career best. This helped him lead the league with a sparkling whip of 0.89.
Though he wouldn't finish the season winning the Sawamura Award, or the NPB's equivalent of the Cy Young Award, Tatsuya Imai was widely recognized as one of the most dominant pitchers in Japan this past season. Imai shattered his career bests for walk rate, home runs allowed, and struck out batters at a higher rate than any other full season of his 9-year professional career. In addition to topping all qualified pitchers in whip, Imai also struck out batters at a higher rate than anybody else in the league at 27.8%. He also allowed less hits than any other pitcher, with an opponent's batting average of 172. Not to mention the second best fielding independent pitching mark at 2.01 and the second best home run per 9 rate at 0.33. Dating back to 2023, Imai is the only pitcher with at least 400 innings pitched and an opponent's batting average below 200, and he's joined only by Atsuki Tenishi for pitchers with this level of workload and a strikeout percentage that exceeds 25%. Simply put, for 3 years, Tatsuya Imai has been one of the best pitchers in his country, and there's no reason to believe that he can't succeed in MLB.
Let's talk more about his 2025 season that has MLB buzzing and the pitch arsenal that helped him achieve all of this. Before we continue with today's profile, I want to thank Shopify for sponsoring today's video. Shopify is the best place to start and grow your business, which is why we partnered with them here at Jomboy Media. Jomboy Media fully relaunched our merch store called Slashline with Shopify's help. We brought the ideas and Shopify brought the execution. As you're shopping our new launch, check out what Shopify can do for you. Life is really a home run when you're partnered up with Shopify. Whether you're just wanting to test an idea out or you're serious about launching your own brand, Shopify is the place to be, and you can click the link down below or go to shopify.com/jollyolive to start today. Thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. Tatsuya Imai's age 27 season in 2025 was nothing short of a dream come true. Over 150 innings pitched, an ERA of 1.92, a whip of 0.89, and the best strikeout to walk ratio of his career by far at a mark near 4. Imai became the first Seibu Lions pitcher to accomplish a qualified season with an ERA below 2 since Yusei Kikuchi did so before he crossed overseas to sign with the Seattle Mariners. Speaking of the Seibu Lions, Imai also crushed the single-game strikeout record for the franchise when he punched out 17 batters in a June contest, breaking the record previously held by Daisuke Matsuzaka. He didn't walk a single batter in this contest, and on pitch number 123 of the night, Imai touched 98 miles per hour on his fastball to secure his final punch-out. Speaking of Daisuke, Imai posted an ERA 71% better than league average and a strikeout rate 42% better than league average in his contract year. These numbers are eerily similar to Daisuke Matsuzaka's final year in NPB before he signed with the Boston Red Sox on a 6-year deal worth $52 million at age 26 in the 2006 offseason. Even when adjusted for inflation, Imai will definitely blow this value out of the water. Tim Britton of The Athletic has said that Imai's ERA and strikeout rate align well with those of Senga, Yusei Kikuchi, and Hiroki Kuroda before they debuted in MLB. So this is obviously fantastic company to keep, but how is Imai generating all these outs? To begin with, he has a strikingly similar frame to a pitcher who just established himself as one of the greatest World Series heroes ever. Imai's frame much more closely resembles that of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who clocks in at a similar weight and stands at 5'10". And in the words of great pitching analyst Lance Brozdowski, Imai's effectiveness sprouts from his lower height, much like Yamamoto.
Talk about why is he so effective? It's the release height. It's much lower than the major league average by about 10 inches. That creates a visual perception for a hitter of his fastball being very flat to the zone, so it's hard to kind of get under it and get on top of it.
Imai recognizes this as a profound advantage in the pitching landscape. In a recent interview, which was wonderfully translated by the great Yaku Cosmopolitan on Twitter, who I'll be referencing a ton in this video, Imai knows that his height makes it more effective to throw up in the zone, to which veteran Daisuke Matsuzaka agreed, likening his own experience. The data of Tatsuya Imai's heat map backs up his philosophy, as you can see him targeting the top of the zone and outer edge of the zone when throwing his fastball. This, of course, plays up the effectiveness of Imai's entire 6-pitch arsenal. For reference, the specs of Tatsuya Imai's fastball compare very similarly to that of Joe Ryan, with an average velocity of 94 to 95 miles per hour, an average arm angle of about 20 degrees, which is a 3/4 slot, and very comparable vertical and horizontal movement as well. In Imai's own words in the aforementioned recent interview, he recognizes his fastball as his best pitch, saying that he does not like to target the lower part of the plate, much preferring to throw high fastballs around the catcher's mask. Keep an eye out for this though, as more talented hitters and higher bat speeds could mean that Imai runs into trouble with this philosophy. One of the most interesting things about Imai is his primary breaking pitch, which is his slider. Imai's slider has been referred to as sort of a reverse slider with intense downward vertical movement. When you watch tape of his slider, it resembles the movement of a splitter, which is the hottest commodity among MLB pitches right now. But Imai also throws a splitter that differs from this arm side slider, and you can see slight variations in the grip and movement of these two pitches. Imai says the grip and movement of his slider is very purposeful because this pitch tunnels with his fastball the best of his breaking pitches. The slider is the main component of Imai's arsenal outside of his fastball, being thrown near 40% against righties and near 30% against lefties. The lesser percent against lefties is made up by his changeup, thrown 16% to lefties this past year, which is traditional pitching philosophy for a right-hander. Tatsuya Imai recorded the highest whiff rate of his career and the highest whiff rate of any NPB pitcher this past season since 2014, generating swing and misses at a 32% clip. Tatsuya Imai ranked in the 90th percentile or higher in various important pitcher metrics, including the 100th percentile of fastball velocity and whiff rate and the 95th percentile of strikeout ratio and strikeout to walk ratio. For years, there was one glaring hole in Tatsuya Imai's game, and that weakness has seemingly been eliminated at the perfect time. So what team is the best fit for Tatsuya Imai's services? Well, there's an old adage that you can never have enough starting pitchers, and every MLB team could use a 28-year-old starting pitcher who's just discovered himself in the most recent season, so I'll just go ahead and say all 30 teams. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. Make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. But in all seriousness, the recruitment period has already begun by various MLB teams, and it's getting intense. Yu Darvish has gotten involved for the San Diego Padres, saying that he's so excited for Imai to come over via Instagram DM. There's also a picture of Imai wearing a Padres hat in Japan, so, you know, start to get excited, Padres fans, maybe? Maybe I'm just stirring the pot a little bit, I don't know. Tatsuya Imai, now paired with the legendary agent Scott Boras, must sign his contract by January 2nd based on his posting window, and many teams have already made their interest well known. An interesting wrinkle added as of late is that Tatsuya Imai reportedly does not want to sign with a team that already rosters Japanese players, which conflicts with conventional thinking. Once again referring to his recent interview translation, Tatsuya Imai repeatedly stated his longing for competition at the highest level, when chatting with Daisuke Matsuzaka about facing the best Japanese hitters in MLB during his playing career. Perhaps most significantly, Imai stated that Shohei Ohtani would be the batter he would want to face most, and a good test of how effective his fastball actually is. Imai has said in interviews that he wants to experience that survival vibe and wants to embrace facing cultural differences. If this statement holds true, it significantly damages the possibility of Imai joining the Super Team Dodgers, who are powered by Japanese talent. Imai has also gone on the record saying that he wants to take them down, and beating a team like that would be the most valuable thing in his life. Many baseball fans have looked to that headline as the most interesting thing to come out of the Imai sweepstakes so far, and granted that makes a lot of sense, but I found something else that he said recently that I found more thought-provoking. Imai recently revealed that he hasn't necessarily been dreaming on an MLB debut for very long. In fact, he only recently gained the desire because of the recent dead ball era in NPB dating back to 2021, stating in a recent interview that hitters aren't even trying to hit a home run off me anymore. A lot of lineups would just foul pitches off and run up my pitch count. Imai went even further, saying that I don't think that kind of baseball is very fun to watch. Personally, I love power versus power matchups. If you couldn't tell already, Imai has an absolute bulldog mentality, and I guarantee you whatever team he signs with, he's instantly going to become a fan favorite. In terms of his projected value, the industry is still decently split. On the expensive side of things, Tim Britton of The Athletic suggests that Tatsuya Imai may receive a deal in the 8-year, $190 million range, while MLB trade rumors predicted more in the 6-year, $150 million ballpark. But with starting pitcher contracts, I feel like the number always ends up higher than we expect it to. These prices may seem completely ridiculous upon first glance, but then again, so did the numbers being offered to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and look how that turned out. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Tatsuya Imai turns into a quality, reliable mid-rotation starter in the league. While his floor is lower because of his history of erratic control, his ceiling might be higher than other Japanese posted players because he's coming off his best season by far and may have just discovered the best version of himself at the perfect time. I expect the San Francisco Giants, Toronto Blue Jays, San Diego Padres, New York Mets, and New York Yankees all to be major players in these sweepstakes. All of these teams are at the beginning, middle, or end of contention windows and could greatly benefit from adding a 28-year-old right-handed starting pitcher to their rotation in the middle of his prime. They also all have the financial means in some capacity to add him to their roster. We'll see about the San Diego Padres because they have weird ownership issues going on right now, but I still believe they'll spend a little bit this offseason. And for reference, Imai's age definitely matters in this context. The only starting pitcher on the market who's as young as Imai is Dustin May. And yeah, sure, Dustin May have less uncertainty, but he has far more baggage than Tatsuya Imai. As for my prediction, I'm not going to say the New York Mets because then I'll get pointed and laughed at, although I'd love him on my team. I'm going to go ahead and say the San Francisco Giants. I think this has been building towards their partnership, and I really like the fit there. Plus, he fits the ground ball mold that they've been building with guys like Logan Webb. And even if it's not Imai, I do have the Giants landing a big starting pitcher this offseason, whether it's Framber Valdez, Ranger Suarez, etc. But that'll do it for my profile on Tatsuya Imai. Let me know if you learned anything in this video, and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Also, leave a comment on the video for what Japanese posted player you'd like to see me cover next. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys next time.